to Sports Scope, the most influential sports talk show in the nation.
What is today, the 19th?
Stay tuned for updates and great sports content.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler. On this ninth day of July, got a great show with you for tonight. Going to talk 20 and 30 minutes past the hour. I'll have Ken Norris returning back to the program here. Nick Saban's has taken an advisory role, $500,000 a year. So this is a little bit more than give me a call every now and then type of role here. I'm going to talk about that with Ken Norris. We'll talk about the Alabama season and all that good stuff here. He's going to be a great guest. Love this guy. Got him coming on. Before that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Spurs getting a lot older. They've added quite a few players here, one free agent, a few, and a couple of a big trade there. Didn't get a chance to talk to that yesterday. Got a take on Dak Prescott, and let's see. And also I want to thank Scott Morganroth. I've got a great. I'll tell you this after the break, but that's a little bit of what we're going to be talking about. I've got a few little nuggets here about some about real sports coming up. Not real sports. The Hard Knocks that's coming up here tonight. The episode, and also I've got a little bite here from the new Netflix series. The wide receiver series on Netflix looks like it's going to be good as well. So let's take our first and only break. I've got a few more announcements when I get back here. We'll take our 49-second break, and I'll give a quick. We'll get a shot here from Mac John McGrath there from National Streaming Sports here. So I'll be back in here just a little bit over a minute. Stand by, folks.
Welcome to Sports Scope, the most influential sports talk show in the nation.
Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program.
I'm Mac, CEO of National Streaming Sports and host of the Mac and Jack Sports Show. You're watching the sharp-dressed man and the big story breaker, Robert Butler, on Sports Scope, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern on National Streaming Sports. Thanks.
All right. Yeah, I got to love Mac. I appreciate that. Appreciate that plug. And, of course, like I said yesterday and every day, check out that the National Streaming Sports YouTube channel. You can see them on Facebook, on the X app as well. National Streaming Sports. Really good stuff here. Again, okay, before I came on tonight, I wanted to thank Scott Morganroth there from the South Florida Tribune, his own website here. Great interview coming up, probably be on Thursday or Friday. And I'm still, what I'm asking to see if Carlos can come on Thursday again. We'll do the Mad New Yorker again on Thursday. And then I'll do the recorded interview with Scott about his book. Also talk about his upbringing, his love for sports here, talk a little Miami. He had some interesting takes on Tua. I'll say that. We agree on some things, but Scott is great energy, smart, got 40 plus years of experience of writing about sports and obviously having an opinion-based show here. Check out that interview. It will be posted here this week, okay? Really, really good stuff. Do not miss that one, okay? I can't say that enough, okay? All right. Anywho, so I got all that out of the way. Also, Temple and Lewis will be on the program tomorrow. She's a personal trainer out of Tampa, big-time Bucks fan. We'll talk to her for about 25 or 30 minutes or so on tomorrow's program, everybody. So, big week, big things happening here on this program. All right. Now, so the Spurs made a big trade acquiring DeMar DeRozan and Harrison Barnes here. And, I'll say this. That wasn't a bad trade. It, by the way, and they signed Chris Paul. I mean, Chris Paul, 39 years old, not when he played 55 games last year, not really thinking he's going to have a lot to do. A big variety of buyers there when it comes to when it comes to wanting to sign him at his age here and lack of height there. I like Chris Paul. I'd like to see him win a championship, but I don't know how big a trade of a signing that was going to be. Victor Wembanyama, number one overall pick last year in the draft there. They had the number 4 pick this past year, the Spurs here. This Stefan Scott out of Connecticut here. Let me make sure. I've got their Stefan Castle, shooting guard out of Connecticut here. And I just mentioned the fact that they brought in DeMar DeRozan and Harrison Barnes. But this is we've heard this for years. 40 is a new thing. I'm actually starting to buy into some of this stuff, really. I mean, we got LeBron James. People are still saying he's one of the top players in the NBA, having a really good, practice session camp at the Olympics here. Really impressive there for LeBron James. He's 39. Whether or not you want to believe that it is artificial or not, he's still putting in the work. I know the guy's got a lot of nutrition, gets in that hyperbolic chamber, spends $1 million a year on his body. He's done a lot. Look at Tom Brady. He played in the NFL post 40. Was it 44, whatnot, when he finally retired from the Tampa Bay Bucks. And look at these players that the Spurs were aggressively going after. I mean, DeMar DeRozan will be 35 years old in August. And he's 34 this year, highly productive player. I didn't know he was that old, folks. I didn't know. I thought he was about 30, 31. DeRozan's 35, okay? Harrison Barnes is 32. He'll be 33 next year. All these guys are going to play with the 7'5" phenom player, again, with the Victor Wembanyama. Okay, you add that with the super young players that they've already got on that roster. You have a play-in type of team, But my main thing is not my main point about this essentially is it looks good in the headlines. I know this team does have nothing but a bunch of young players. Your best player is on a rookie contract there, and they still really can't acquire any big-time free agents. And I want to say, Chris Paul at 39, is that really considered to be a big-time free agent? A lot of people, so I'm trying to think of a way to say this. And I've heard this analogy used before. Colin Cowherd's good at analogies. And he says, that friend you say you're going to get with every time and never get with them. And a lot of times my friends that watch this show, Calvin, my friend Calvin, when I say it, I actually do mean it. I'm just a very busy guy and I can't get around to doing it. But I noticed when a lot of other people, like there's a lot of people tell me they're going to come on the program. They're going to come, and they never do. And they just never do. Well, it's like that friend, though. You see at the party, and man, want to play for you. You're great. You're great. That's Greg Popovich. Greg Popovich, mid to late 70s, cranky, talking about politics, gun control, sniping at. Now, I understand he sniped at the media for 20 plus years, going back throughout the Tim Duncan days. But that's when they were winning. It was kind of got overlooked, you know. But LeBron talks about how much he just loves Greg Popovich. Loves Greg Popovich. Had a shot to go to Greg Popovich twice and didn't do it. He went to Cleveland, then he went to LA. And since Kawhi Leonard, who have they gotten? You know, it's the unspoken undercurrent about. I understand, hey, great coach, man, resume wise. You know, Bob Knight was a great coach, resume wise as well. But I just think the next step for the San Antonio Spurs, proud organization there, only pro team down there in San Antonio, it would be to get one of his assistants and just move off of Popovich. And Popovich, I think he signed, a 3-year extension last year, okay? I think, and you know, he's going to look rejuvenated. We're going to use all that. But I just, you look at one more off season, why wouldn't people want to go play with the phenom like a Victor Wembanyama? You know, why wouldn't they want to do that? I just think they don't want to play. They don't want to say it publicly. Players don't want to say it publicly, but I think probably they really don't want to hear Popovich's mouth. I really do believe that. And that's the next step. That being said, yeah, these are decent players, but look how old they are. Right? Maybe 40 is a new 30. I mean, Harrison Barnes is okay, but I mean, 35 for DeRozan, even though he's played great with the Bulls here. And Barnes was a really good player. You're mixing them in with these super young guys here. But I just think that Popovich is the next big move in San Antonio. And don't get me wrong, it's an exciting time if you're a Spurs fan. I do think every time I see Wembanyama, I just think, man, this guy, he does something I don't see before. He's a little bit quicker than I've seen him before. He's a little bit thicker than I've seen him before. He's passing a little bit better than I've seen him before. And quite frankly, the guy looks bigger every time I see him. You know, he towers people. He's a legit 7'5". You know, he towers. There's a picture on the internet. I mean, you know, he's from France, right? Rudy Gobert. He towers him. So it's good times for the Spurs. I just think the unspoken is get rid of the cranky and move off into a younger assistant. Heck, I mean, what is it? Udoka? Udoka or whatever. The Rockets coach was a former assistant for the Spurs. So there's good coaches out there that can work with Wembanyama. I don't think it'll be a very popular job. Just maybe give it another year with him and he retire, another full year, another off season with Wembanyama. That's going to be a very, very attractive job for talented coaches, in my humble opinion. Okay. Don't want to waste too much time because I know Ken may pop up on here any minute. Dak Prescott, this has been on the news over the past few days, was seen in a walking boot and caused concern. Was he in some kind of incident? I talked about traffic issues with high-speed accidents with players and all that. But was he in some kind of fight? You know, he was in a fight one time at college where some guys jumped. This is on video. Some guys jumped on him and beat up on him. But I mean, it was okay. But that stuff did happen per se. And he just said, well, let him speak for it. I've got the soundbite here. Here's Dak Prescott. I got this off of the X app feed from Diana Rossini from The Athletic. Listen up.
protected. And yeah, I'm great. Honestly, I'm getting older. It's the same ankle, right, that I snapped and had a nasty surgery on 4 years ago. So, yeah, a couple of hard days of training, and you get a little sore, and then you're going on a fishing trip, and you want to protect it and make sure that things don't get worse. So, literally, it is absolutely nothing. That's why I said people are reaching, trying to make things that they aren't. I'm getting older, have to take care of my body, have to be smart. And if I can take precautions and lessening something by putting on a boot, I'm going to do it. And so sorry that it caused such a whirlwind.
I mean, I just love this guy. Podium-wise, great guy, man. I mean, Dak was one of the guys who stood for the flag when it was really, really frowned upon. You know, him being I think he is a mixed race and whatever. Back in 2020, during the George Floyd thing, and even before that, was it 27th when the Colin Kaepernick stuff broke off? He said, "No, I'm standing for the flag," and I really appreciate that. You know, not to go down that road, but I'm pro stand for the flag. If you want to do something about police brutality, take that to the police stations, not the city halls and everything, not the actual NFL arena where you look like you're grandstanding, but. He showed strong leadership, really good guy. That being said, I do believe he probably hurt that ankle, by the way, he's talking about. If any of you remember this, that was on Sunday Night Football. He rolled it. It looked really bad, really bad. I mean, it looked deformed looking. It was a gruesome looking and tough guy. It showed his grit right there, you know. Forgot to put my banners up. Excuse me, folks. I got such a hurry today. Okay, there we go. There you go. Sorry about that. Anyways, I think he's pushing himself pretty hard. I mean, he's coming up on contract year. We're hearing these words, 60 million, 55 million. I think he'll probably go out and have a pretty good season this year. I think he's pushing himself hard. I think that teams should, and I'll give you a little preview there of the Scott Morgenroth interview. He made a good point to me, and I thought, yeah, we were talking about Tua. I talked about Tua on yesterday's program that I said that Tua's a guy that general managers, Chris Greer, the general manager, is going to sign him out of fear of getting fired because he don't want to lose any interim between coaches. And he says, listen, you can't just go off 1 year with Tua, 69% completion percentage. This is Scott quote from him. He's saying that you got to stretch this thing out and franchise him if you have to. He's in his 5th year option right now. But remember, folks, 18 months ago, he considered retirement. Tua had his concussion issues, a few gruesome hits there, some scary images on that Thursday night game. I think it was against Cincinnati, but they think he came back a little too quick in the previous Buffalo game. This is not last year, but the year before. You know, you gotta spread this thing out and see what you got there with Tua. One thing about the Detroit Lions that I was not 100% on board with, and that was the Jared Goff situation. I'm okay with it, with the re-signing of Jared Goff, but I would have liked to, in a perfect world, keep Goff on a contract year so he can have that edge. I want to keep Goff on that contract year, folks, so he can play with that edge, that chip on the shoulder. Coming off of an NFC championship game and you're not going to extend me, you still don't respect me. Do you think he's going to, with all these great players and guys like me all over the country saying, we're going to, guys like me saying that we're putting this team in the Super Bowl. They got to add all the players. Keep that edge. Keep that edge. He's not going to go broke. He's already signed a big contract. Remember, we're talking contract number 3. Just food for thought. Got a great guest back backstage here. Ken Norris here. Hey, Ken, how you doing, man? Looking good. That's another great shirt you got on there, buddy.
Roll Tide, baby.
You know, folks, I mentioned this yesterday. I'm telling you, Ken, and the audience. I said, you know, Ken's some kind of prophet. You made the observation to me, the comment that you think that Nick Saban is some type of advisor at Alabama, and front office sports. I've confirmed it now. On July the 1st, you told me this 2 or 3 weeks ago in church on Sunday, that he has an advisory role at Alabama. Front office sports, this website I found, they're paying him $500,000 a year. So this is a pretty extensive job there. It's just not call me every now and then. What made you think of that, Ken? Start calling you Ken the Prophet Norris, making calls like that, man.
Knowing the background of Alabama.
Yeah.
Nick Saban was brought to Alabama from the alumni there. It's Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Brought there on his own. They researched Nick Saban, brought him there, and he had a role to play. And so by them backing him like they have for the years he's been at Alabama.
Yeah.
A lot of people think about it's the money.
Yeah.
Alabama, you ever heard of old money?
Yeah.
Alabama's got old money. It don't run out. And they let Nick Saban in on that old money.
Yeah.
Now, Nick Saban has been taken under their wing like a child being brought to a new parent,
Yeah.
Nick Saban's not going anywhere. He won't never leave the University of Alabama. Now, he's got other things going on in his life. He's got car dealerships.
Yeah.
He's helping people get on the map themselves. Nick Saban's got a good heart. He likes helping people. He loved helping the college football players.
Yeah.
Until they thought they needed money more than they needed ethics. And that's the reason. That's the reason Nick stepped out of it. It hurt his heart to know that college football has gone to a professional level.
Yeah.
Where a player can make their own decision what they want to do. Those are college kids. They're not even graduated college. They can't make the decision. Their parents are still wiping their butts.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the brain's not fully developed to 24 or something like that, 25.
It's not about the brain being developed. It's about them gripping the ethics that they need to be taught so they can be top-notch men and not be somebody that's just, well, I'm just going to make this money and it'll do me okay.
Right.
Nick Saban.
Yeah, my dad said the same thing, by the way. There's nothing to teach them, They think they know everything because they got the money.
And every one of those players, just like you and I, we're different in our own ways.
Yeah.
Well, Nick Saban has the discernment to discern what kind of teaching he needs to teach each and every one of those individual players.
Mm-hmm.
And he has that inside of him to do that. Well, when it went to money, Nick said, well, you don't need me no more. It's not about what I have to offer you.
How long do you think he's planned this out? Or do you think he just woke up one day back in January and shocked us all like he did? Or do you think maybe he's thinking about this time last year? In your opinion,
if you recall, I think when I met you a year and a half ago,
or
better, I made the comment that Nick Saban's fixing to leave.
I think,
If
yeah,
you
I recall that.
If you recall me telling you that, and everybody, they didn't believe it, but I knew he was, because the way the football players was acting.
Yeah.
And I could see it in his demeanor, how he was on the sidelines coaching them boys. I could see it in his face that they don't need me anymore. They're not listening to me. They're playing their game and not my game. And that's why Alabama went to faltering. He still, to have ethics to do something.
Yeah.
You don't stop doing it just because you got somebody not participating like they're supposed to.
Right.
So Nick carried it on out and did the best he could with what he had. And then he said, I can't do this anymore. I can't feed them across the fence. They're going to have to come in my pasture. They're going to have to come on my field, play my game, learn my ethics. Let me teach them the principles of life, the principles of not quitting, and everything that goes with college football.
Would he take it to the AD role? Would he possibly go to that role in the future? Nick
Saban, I believe now. See, I don't know because this has not been publicized, but I believe that. What's that coach's name? DuBose?
The current coach is DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, DeBoer. That's his name, DeBoer.
Yeah, Kalen DeBoer. Excuse me.
Yeah. He is the head coach.
Yeah.
But in life, that everybody has a boss.
Yeah.
Everybody has a superior. You're a head coach, you can be fired with a snap of a thumb.
Right.
That's because they have a boss. And Nick Saban is over it all.
Okay.
What his word is the Bible. You got to live by it.
That's right.
And
what would Saban do? I think about that all the time with the guy. I missed the guy already, and we ain't even started the season. Let me ask you this. We talked about this in church, about this young man who tragedy accident, Kyrie Jackson, high-speed wreck, fourth-round pick that went to the Vikings here, not even finished his rookie year. You're familiar with Henry Ruggs, former Alabama player, had a tragedy where a player, he was driving a Corvette over 125 miles an hour. You remember that 3 years ago? Woman burned up in the car. It's really bad. Do you see a guy like Nick Saban, who is just an excellent speaker and conviction, speaking at the rookies, asked to be like a regular at the NFL rookie symposium about reckless driving and decision making?
That's one of the reasons that Nick Saban is not standing on the sidelines anymore.
Okay.
You never heard of any of Nick Saban's players doing anything like that.
Yeah. Well, Ruggs was, but he talked about Ruggs.
Until recently, in the last couple of years.
Yes.
Just the last couple of years.
Yes.
Players are staying out late. Players are places they don't supposed to be. Their schoolwork is faltering. And before 2 years ago and before that, when Nick Saban came to Alabama, you didn't see none of his players doing that. Never would.
Yeah.
And they would have to answer for it. But now they don't care. And so Nick Saban says, well, look, there's consequences behind what y'all are doing.
Right.
And the school's telling me that if I get rid of you, we're not even going to have a football team because Nick Saban to get rid of them all.
Right.
He'll tell them all, go on.
Yeah.
You don't have a scholarship here.
Yeah, and I remember him making a comment, Ken, back at his Michigan State days. A guy named Musa Muhammad got into some trouble, and Nick says we discipline Musa in house, but wouldn't you rather have him be under me, or for him to be back out on the street? Because a lot of people wanted me to kick him off. Muhammad later became a president of a company. He played in the NFL. He really straightened his life up. Nick was that father figure,
That's what Nick does.
Yeah. So he'll discipline you, but he's reluctant to kick you off the team because not unless you really, really screw things up, essentially. But
I can see Nick Saban saying, "Come in my office."
Yeah.
And look them players in the eyes and say, "Do you want this? Or do you want to walk on off?"
Yeah.
It's your choice. You know what you have to do if you stay, but you're welcome to go.
Yeah.
It's your choice.
Yeah.
You came to me to learn football, ethics, and life.
Uh-huh.
Now, you've showed me that you don't want that. You want to do what you want to do. Now, if you want to do that, you're free to go.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to stay, and I could see a list a mile long and say, here's the list. Here's the list. You're going to have to do all this. You won't have time to do nothing.
Right. But do you think he'll do something?
All this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's great, man, about him. So what do you think about this year's team, particularly Jalen Monroe's going to be back? This Keelan DeBoer here, very good coach. Washington was in the national championship last year, and the play of their quarterback, Michael Penix, he was a first-round pick. What do you think about this year's squad in Alabama?
Really, Robert, I haven't researched anything. I've been too busy to study college football this year. I'm real busy myself.
Yeah, I hear you.
But I told you this before.
Yeah.
I can watch a team play one game and tell you what they're going to do.
Okay.
I've been watching football since I was 4. I've been playing football since I was 4 years old. And I played up until I graduated high school, and I never got big enough to get on that college field.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I could do it, but Barry Bryant put me out there, and he said, "There's what you're going against." Now I said, "Well, I'm mean enough." He said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, they just as mean as you." and they were twice as big as me. And
you about my height. You about Rudy's size. Remember Rudy, the movie Rudy?
Yeah.
Yeah, played for Notre Dame, and that was around that same era there. Rudy Rudiger. He ended up playing with Joe Montana, but he was practice squad for 4 years.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I seen the movie. Yeah, I did. That was a good movie. But anyway, I haven't researched, Robert, but I'm wanting.
What's your gut tell you, though? I mean, they got a lot of players coming back, though. Jalen Monroe's going to be back, their quarterback.
He's not going to have Saban's backing there for him. Saban he's an encourager. When a quarterback gets down, he starts making mistakes.
Yes.
Well, Saban's got a way of bringing them back to life. I don't know if this new coach has got that in him. But now Nick Saban can instill this in this coach.
Right.
And that's probably what that coach is wanting Nick Saban to do. I know the University of Alabama don't want to go to 0-10.
Yeah.
They want to go 10-0.
Of course.
But if this coach doesn't listen to Nick Saban, Nick Saban, look at the coaches that Nick Saban has put out in different colleges.
He's had some good ones and some bad ones, but he's had some good ones, you know.
He's had some real good ones.
Yeah, Kirby
That,
Smart's
you know,
doing pretty good.
Yeah, he is. And he thought, excuse me a minute.
Go ahead. I know that the air's terrible today. It's been like that all week.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
But I just got out of the swimming pool, so
Yeah, you got a good tan, brother. You got a good tan, keeping it going.
oh yeah. I'm getting ready for the beach. I wish I was. I'm just kidding, Robert. I enrolled in Nashville State Community College to get my associates where I could do some
Nashville
business.
State, that's where my sister went. Yeah. She likes
So
it.
I'm already enrolled, classes and everything, and so I'm gonna be busy for the next 18 months.
Yeah.
And so it's gonna be working out at the gym and doing college courses and deaconship at the church, and so my life's pretty well. My plate's full.
You know, they've got a junior varsity football team if you still got some eligibility left.
At Nashville State?
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Since we're talking college football.
I was thinking about that today when I was over there.
Yeah.
I seen where they have a lot of sport activity.
Oh, do they really? I was just kidding.
Yeah, it's just between the classmates, they get out
intramurals.
But I don't believe Nashville State Community Colleges has a football team.
No, they don't. I'm just kidding you, man. I'm pulling your chain there. Hey, on a serious note, in air quotes, Nick Saban's one of his best friends, Bill Belichick. And Bill Belichick essentially parted ways with his girlfriend, who was in her 50s. Belichick's about 72. Him and Saban are both in their 70s. And he's dating a 24-year-old ex-cheerleader. Is there any chance that, Al Pacino's got a kid with a young woman? You don't see any kind of crisis happen where he may leave a Miss Terry and start dating a 25-year-old, do you?
Nick Saban,
Go ahead, man.
His ethics is so strong within him.
Yeah.
He don't judge other men by their actions on what they do. Nick Saban has his own life, and he wouldn't ruin his life by doing something like that. Robert, I grew up a jock. I grew up, dating the head cheerleader. Throwing the biggest parties on Friday night.
Right.
And so I had this ego trip going on and had many, many, many girlfriends. And my two sisters that's older than me, they're both models.
Okay.
So I was brought up around pretty women.
Yeah.
My sister was a head cheerleader. My oldest sister was a majorette.
Okay.
So during the week, there was 10, 15 cheerleaders and majorettes at the house.
Yeah, my sister was a cheerleader too, actually. Ironically.
So I hope that, it's okay if they watch it because they already knew. They would tell me, leave my friends alone. I said, I'm not bothering them. They're coming to me.
Hey, man, if you got it, you flown it. No, I've just pulled your chain there. I don't think he will do that.
But the reason I said that, Robert, is I'm fixing to be 64 years old.
Yeah. When's your birthday?
Okay, I'm pumping out 5 miles in the gym 6 days a week, working upper body, lower body. I'm pressing almost 500 pounds.
Yeah, I can tell, man.
So I'm almost 64 years old and doing this.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong. All those pretty women at the gym, but the thing about it is a man has to have ethics to himself. A woman will like you if it's not a come on, you know. And all these girls, we talk about the Lord, we talk about ethics, we talk about what should be done, what shouldn't be done, and it makes friends.
Yeah.
It makes friends. So I've gathered a lot of friends being a different person that I am today compared to what I used to be when I was playing ball, when I was doing the things, trying this ego trip that I used to be on. But
I went through that too. Yeah.
I think all men do. All
men do that are honest.
But the focal point I'm getting to is there's nothing wrong with the appearance of a beautiful woman.
Right.
Just don't let your mind go where it shouldn't go.
Yeah.
A lot of men can't do that, but Nick Saban can do that. Belichick now, hey, you know.
Now, Belichick was technically not married. This woman's not married either. I mean, I'm okay with it. I mean, like I was telling somebody the other day, I was thinking about asking out a woman that's 23. I'm 42. I don't feel so bad since Belichick's 72 and she's 24. I guess he feels 50 years younger.
Well, Robert, there's
if you got good chemistry, you know.
Women my age, that appearance is better looking than a 21-year-old.
I've seen those women. I've worked with them in the medical community.
I live in a 12-story high-rise retirement apartment complex that teachers retirement apartment complex. Yeah. That they are many beautiful women here.
Yeah. I bet.
But I try to have the ethics of God instead of the ethics of Ken Norris, because my ethics sucks when it comes to that. But
it's the flesh, right? I hear you, man.
I don't fraternize with these women. Now they fraternize with me all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't give into it. I don't. I treat them nice and kind. Yeah. And just laugh it off. You know, I don't go there. I know that I've got goals that I'm trying to reach, and if I went there, I wouldn't reach one of them goals.
now, talking to you, I don't feel bad, Ken. You know, single guy myself, but I've got 3 jobs. This is a job. Doing this program is a job. You know, I do a medical carrier job. I just started doing Uber. And I also do a job where I have wraps put on my car and I drive around events and stuff. Really one's a side hustle. But I've got 3 jobs. It's hard to get a relationship going when there's not enough hours in the day. Plus, we got to sleep if you want to be successful, right?
Robert, I think that most people in society has the word relationship mixed up.
Okay.
You don't have to be right beside somebody every day to have a relationship.
Correct.
To trust in one another and the information you share with one another to make decisions forms a relationship.
Yeah.
Being trustworthy and not trying to lasso somebody to be what you want them to be other than to let them be what they want to be.
Right.
And that is what all those ethics that we're talking about is what Nick Saban taught his players. He taught some great speeches, man. You can look at the players that's in the NFL that played. What's his name? Plays for the Eagles. Jalen
Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
And then Tui
plays with the Cowboys or the Hurricanes.
Tui plays for who?
Tua with the Hurricane or Dolphins. Excuse me.
Miami Dolphins, right?
Yeah. Just talking about him earlier.
those boys are on top of the world.
Yeah.
But you can watch them play their game, and you can see Nick Saban all in it.
Right.
What he taught them, and that's the reason they're persevering over what they're doing, is because they listen to Nick Saban.
That's true.
You know,
I've wrote Tua off and I've wrote Hurts off many times, Ken.
Acceptance, Robert, to a person where you can put aside your thoughts and take a mentor's thoughts and put them in your life for the good. And you see, when you do that, you see prosperity.
Right.
And once you see a little bit of prosperity coming from somebody else's thoughts and intuitions, that has helped you with that, then you trust in them.
Right.
You go to them. You can bet you that Chewy, Jalen Hurts, they talk to Nick Saban all the time.
Yeah.
They
you
got
think Mac Jones, or a former Alabama quarterback, do you think he'll find his way back in the starting position?
Who's that?
Mac Jones, the former quarterback that played in 2020, won the national championship.
Who's he with?
He's a backup in Jacksonville right now. The Patriots, he didn't work out with the Patriots.
Well, I don't know his relationship, and I don't know much about him, but I can tell you that if he listened to what Nick taught him, then he will go far.
Yeah.
And I'm anxious to see some scrimmages from Alabama. And the next time that we come together on Sports Scope, I will have seen some scrimmages, and I will be able to give you some good information on what Alabama and what that coach is all about.
Well, only Alabama could pull this off, I think. Who can have a guy leave at the end of the season like Nick Saban, as good as Nick Saban, and they pull a national championship coach just right out from underneath Washington. Remember, they got Saban when he was still the active coach from the Dolphins to come back to college. So they really do. I think it's that old money, and it's the natives of Alabama. I'm not saying that because you're here. I've said this in front of all my other friends. They know this. The listeners know this. They just care more at the state of Alabama about the University of Alabama being successful at a high level. They just will not accept mediocrity. Unlike a lot of
you can't buy a scratch-off ticket in Alabama.
Why is that?
They don't sell them. There is no gambling in Alabama.
Oh, they don't have gambling, do they?
They don't have lottery. They don't have scratch-off tickets. None of that stuff they have in Alabama, and they won't never have.
They don't have a pro team either. I think that's why maybe there's so much with the University of Alabama, where they really care about that team.
There's too much influence to a negative factor for the state of Alabama.
Yeah, that's true.
Alabama's got a lot of history that it's probably going to stay there.
Yeah.
It's taught to the children, and I come from a family that taught it, and ethics, and I had an ego trip going, but it was beating into me. That's there's certain things you don't do if you're from Alabama.
Yeah.
And it's a good state to live in. It really is. It's got great ethics to it, a lot of respect. towards everybody.
Yeah,
You're going to have negativity come through any state,
that's true.
but you don't have as much negativity in Alabama than you do in the other 51 states.
Yeah. They got a pretty interesting schedule this year. I mean, they play at Wisconsin. Obviously, you got to play LSU, Tennessee, but they play Oklahoma this year. You still got the Iron Bowl. This is the most interesting season in 15 years for Alabama. I mean, you're going into a 12-team playoff. They got a new coach, but they got such good players there. So I still think they'll be competitive, man. And they're not going to. It's hard to follow a guy like Saban, though. Who wants to be the guy to follow the guy? That's always the old adage. The
They got
standards are so high, though,
Wisconsin.
Ken.
I mean, you got Western Kentucky,
Yeah.
South Florida.
Yeah.
South Florida's come up in the last few years.
Yeah, you got guys like that. The players like that, and they do got two. I want to say they got 2 bye weeks this year.
And then you got Kirby Smart on the 4th game.
Yep, that's off a bye week though.
Do what?
That's off their bye week. They have a bye week on September 21st.
Who does?
Alabama does.
That's every year right before Auburn.
Well, September 21st, and then they have one November 2nd. I mean, remember they've added Oklahoma and Texas to the SEC. That's what makes this year really ironic and just different, man. I mean, they got to play at Oklahoma. They may beat Oklahoma, but LSU is going to be a tough one. But that's also a bye week prior to that. So they've got 2 bye weeks this year.
2 bye weeks?
Yeah.
Really?
According to this schedule, yes.
Yeah, November the 9th.
Yes, or 2nd.
Then November the 16th. That's not a bye week.
No, I mean, they got a bye week after they play Missouri, which is really good a program now, on October 26th. The very next week is November 2nd. They got November 2nd off. Then they play at LSU.
LSU?
LSU. They'll be playing Brian Kelly. That's going to be a barn burner. Probably be a night game, Ken.
Death Valley is always hard, man. It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. Those Cajuns down there, man.
Especially at night there, Ken. Especially at night.
What?
Especially at nighttime. This schedule says the game could be at 3:30 or 8 p.m. Eastern, which is 7 p.m. Central. It'll probably be at 7 p.m., my guess.
You know, it don't even say on my schedule here what time it's played.
Footballschedules.com is what I'm looking at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they got to play at Tennessee this year. You might be in trouble. Vols may get you this year there, Ken.
As long as we don't give them 3 seconds.
That's one of the greatest games of all time, wouldn't it? Can you look back and say that?
But you seen what they did. They threw that goalpost in the river.
They threw the goalpost in the river.
If
they can get that out, it's probably worth something.
In the river. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they Tennessee, Alabama and Tennessee has been a good game to watch for years and years.
Yeah.
But we'll see what this new coach has got to put out. You know, I don't know like I said, next time I come on your show, I'll be done watched what this coach is about.
Okay.
And all I got to do is watch him on 4 quarters.
Okay.
And when I watch him, I can tell you exactly what Alabama's going to do this year.
Gotcha.
And I will let you know what Saban's hands are doing in it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You've already made one prophecy.
If you just sit back and watch,
yeah,
you'll see who's coaching the team.
Right.
You know, it's every coach has his own way, but just like that Facebook post I showed you,
Yes,
where Nick Saban is going to be
the advisor. Yeah.
he's going to be an advisor.
Yeah. I was just talking to that. That's what I was saying earlier. They're going to pay him $500,000 a year for that. So
that's where I'm going to make my money when I finish college.
I'm looking forward to that, Ken. Man, you kind of look like what's that guy's name? Don Shula with those glasses on. Former Dolphins great coach.
Mean he looked like me?
Ken Norris, everybody. You got anything else? I've got to wrap up.
Robert, it's been great. Thank you for bringing me on your show.
Of course.
I love talking football.
Yeah.
It's getting close to watching these teams and what they're about.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make it a point to spend a Saturday of my time online watching who's got footage out.
Yeah.
And I see you every Sunday. So I'll be letting you know what I've been seeing, and you can schedule me in when you need me.
All righty then. Ken Norris, everybody. Hey, I appreciate
it. Baby.
You got it in the title. Kenneth Roll Tide Norris is what his name says for my podcast audience.
Always and forever.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good night, man.
You too, Robert. See you
All right,
Sunday.
man. Good to you. All right, everybody. Now, tomorrow, like I said, I'll have Temple and Lewis in from Tampa, Florida area. She's going to talk a little bit about the Bucks. She's a personal trainer. I have never had Temple on. We'll see how it works out. But and there's a few things I didn't get to tonight. Ken came in a little early. No problem. Going to be talking about Hard Knocks on HBO. I'll give you my thoughts on that. There was a good preview. I wanted to play it on tonight's program. Didn't get a chance to. I'm really looking forward to that. We'll talk about that as well. A lot of stuff to get to tomorrow. Make sure and tune in. If you like the show, please share the show, folks. This is the only way I can get going. And again, I will keep you updated on my other interviews, particularly with Scott Morgenroth. I don't know why I can get Scott's name right. Scott Morgenroth here. He really good guy. Great interview. Make sure and tune in to the program for that one. It is a good one. Probably be on Thursday or Friday. I haven't heard back from Carlos. I'm going to try to get Carlos in Thursday. But if not, we'll do Mad New Yorker Friday, and that will be on Thursday. So tune in tomorrow. I'll definitely have that answer for you. Have a good night, everybody. I will be back here tomorrow, same place, same time, here on The Real Sports.